Boy.
Gingerrunner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another gingerrunner.com review, a highly requested review today. I have not reviewed a shoe or product from this brand ever on this channel or elsewhere. Today's shoe is from Under Armour. It is the Bandit 2. Under Armour? Yeah, honestly, I can't believe it's taken this long to review an Under Armour product. They're a huge brand known throughout the world, I'm guessing? I mean, hell, Michael Phelps is sponsored by them, so that means they have to be legit, right? I approach every review, every product with an open mind. Some products change my mind, some do not. That being said, I was a bit trepidatious reviewing an Under Armour shoe, purely because of my preconceived notions that the brand itself wasn't necessarily synonymous with quality, and I just never thought of them as a running shoe company. I had a very similar mindset when reviewing Skechers products, but then you find out that they have a performance division, which I find out later is completely separate from actual Skechers. Skechers Performance sponsors athletes such as Meb Keflezighi, Kara Goucher, just a couple of fasties. And while you won't see them wearing Skechers shape-ups anytime soon, at least I hope, after reviewing the Skechers Performance shoes, I found that they turned out to be pretty damn good. If you can look past the Skechers brand, you've got some decent running shoes. So I was curious if Under Armour would bring the same fate. Would I really like their running shoes, despite the fact that the brand wasn't on my list of top-tier running shoe manufacturers? So will the Bandit 2, a semi-neutral, semi-stability-based runner, change my opinion? Well, let's find out. Before we get into the likes and dislikes, this shoe, as mentioned, a fairly neutral but also stability-based shoe. What does that mean? I find it to be more towards the neutral side with stability features. I can see it working for both depending on what kind of runner you are, but I can also see how it takes away from the overall running experience. 29mm, 19mm stack height with a 10mm drop. Some interesting features in this shoe that do help separate it from other competition in the market. My time running in this shoe was a bit mixed. I'm going to talk all about it. Let's get on with things that I like and dislike about the Under Armour Bandit 2. First like, the upper. It's made of various stretchy fabrics that are welded together. The front fabric here, this herringbone style, very reminiscent of Flyknit, which I talked about last week from Nike. It's stretchy, forgiving, fairly breathable. Then you throw in an awesome heel cup that really locks down your foot, keeps it in there, plus a midfoot wrap that's connected to the tongue, so it gives you additional support around the midfoot area. Very reminiscent of the Sense-It Fit technology from Salomon, but not quite as nailed. Overall, a good fitting, comfortable upper. Responsive. I mentioned that this shoe is responsive. That's an understatement. Dual density midsole materials, you can tell because they're different colors, but it's a nice responsive ride, definitely catering to those workouts where you want to go a little bit faster, keeps you up on your midfoot, forefoot area. Great for speed-based workouts. Durable. I have about 47 miles in this shoe, which is not a ton, but I am able to determine that the life of the shoe will probably be longer than I expected, purely based off outsole wear and negligible wear and tear across the upper of the shoe. Holding together great, way better than some other shoes that I reviewed, so that bodes well for the durability of the Bandit 2. And now let's move on to things that I dislike about the Bandit 2, starting with weight. It's a bit hefty, 10.3 ounces in my side. The reason why I consider that heavy is when you're dealing with a responsive shoe, I like to go a bit faster in those versions of shoes. When you design a shoe that's meant for those speed workouts, the heavier you make it, the more you end up kind of shooting yourself in the foot. That was terrible. They just seem to counteract each other. You can't make a shoe that's meant to go fast with responsive midsole materials and then just make it heavy. You get the imbalance. Unforgiving. This midsole material, yes, while responsive, is maybe too responsive, especially when Under Armour is advertising it as a cushioned and responsive ride. I'm going to tell you that the cushioned midsole material under the midfoot and forefoot is not so much cushioned. It is more responsive, and then the back midsole material is downright concrete. I found the shoe most comfortable by forefoot and midfoot striking, which is what I tend to do anyways, but as I mentioned, the shoe's drop, which is around 10mm, comes into play here with another dislike. The drop. No matter how good or efficient I feel like my foot strike is by being up here in the midfoot, forefoot area, I continue to strike throughout the heel because the midsole material is just so responsive, and you'll notice it right away when you start striking with this back midsole material. It just feels really abrasive, overwhelming, not forgiving at all. I get it, that's the stability midsole material at play there, but compared to other shoes based off the similar platform as this, the ride is nowhere near as comfortable. So yes, at times it feels like you're wearing a high heel. Good luck staying up in the midfoot, forefoot area. And finally, sizing. I had an issue with sizing with the shoe. You're going to want to size up about a half size. Make sure you try these on before you wear them. Last thing you want is your toes bucking up against this overlay on the foot. It'll not be comfortable. It'll lead to hot spots and potentially blisters. Lesson learned. Okay, so that's it for dislikes. It's an interesting shoe. As far as being a first shoe from Under Armour that I've reviewed, I'm going to come away with this with a similar impression that I had reviewing Skechers shoes. It is better than I expected, and I anticipate a lot of people will like it, and I may throw it in rotation from time to time, but what I'm really curious about are your opinions, so in the comments below of this video, of course, let me know. what you guys think of the Bandit 2 or other Under Armour shoes that maybe I should be giving a shot. So now, as always, let's get on with the points. Starting with quality, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. Honestly, the shoe's build quality is far superior than what I expected. Holding up real well, nice and durable, but really there's a lot of things here contributing to weight. Plastic heel cup, metal eyelets, multi-layered materials in the upper. You get the idea. Comfort, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. I want to be borderline 2 out of 5. Really, that's not my most favorite shoe as far as comfort's concerned. It's not a plush ride. As far as responsive ride, it's not the best in that department. It's kind of that middle ground. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Price, at $100, it's actually a decent price. I'll give it 4 out of 5. There's so many shoes now that are just going higher and higher in price, just astronomical. This one still maintains that frugal price, which is in line with what I expected from an Under Armour shoe. And finally, looks. I am not the hugest fan. I know what they're going for here, kind of a play off of some Nike type kicks. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 on looks. The other color version is a bit better, but still not great. Bringing our grand total in the Under Armour Bandit 2 to a 14 out of 20. Not a terrible score, but not a great score. Opinions on this shoe will vary from person to person depending on what you're looking for in a running shoe, whether you're looking for a stability shoe or a neutral shoe or a responsive shoe or a speed-based shoe, which brings me to my buy, try, or why. I will give this a try mixed with a Y, but more towards the try. Definitely worth your time if you're looking for this sort of thing. But the question with this and similar brands will be, can you look past the Under Armour logo on the side? If you can, you might get a shoe that you've been looking for. So always be open. Always consider all your options. Try everything. Who knows? Maybe you'll find something that you like. In this case, I mixed. And that brings me to the end of my review. If you guys want to find out more information about this shoe, remember I have a link in the description to take you to Running Warehouse as well as a 10% off coupon, so use it. And make sure you follow me across social media on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, of course gingerrunner.com. Every single Monday at 6 p.m. I'm doing live shows right here on this YouTube channel, bringing on running guests. And if you want to help keep the lights on and the mics hot, go to patreon.com/thegingerrunner. For as little as $1 a month, you basically make everything happen with some cool perks on the back end. That's it. Get out there, guys. Train hard. Race harder. Party the hardest. I know I am. See you guys next week. Bye!